Once again, when we say your name in one word, what should we expect?
Mayor.
Thank you very much. And name 3 most important things that you will do if elected mayor of Zamboanga.
1, solve the problems of the city. 2, no SOP, no 10%, no whatever they call it, no corruption. Number 3, I would like Zamboanga City to be Orgullo de Mindanao. Right now, we are not Orgullo de Mindanao. Maybe we should focus on places that are city-states like Singapore. See what they did right. Focus on other progressive areas like Israel. They have a surplus of water in the desert. Why? Here, we have 2 things that are bad according to the businessmen. No electricity, no water. So solve these 2 problems. That will be my goal. Essentially, how can we solve electricity? There are many ways, not just oil or coal. Wave generation for electricity should be studied. Multiple small dams for electricity, hydroelectric. Multiple small dams, maybe 100, 200, 300 small dams. 1 hectare, 2 hectares, 10 hectares. For water conservation. That will recharge our aquifers. Health. We are in a so-called pandemic. Sunlight would have prevented this whole pandemic. Anybody with 30 nanograms of vitamin D will not get sick. They will have asymptomatic. So, our population is sick because of lack of sunlight. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next, we would like to hear from Karim Ismail. Again, when we say your name in one word, what should we expect?
Kung ako ang tatawagin, isa akong ulap. Minsan nakapagbibigay ng...
Thank you, sir. Now, please name 3 most important things that you will do if elected mayor of Zamboanga. Maaari po bang silang magbigay ng 3 pinakamahalagang gawain na uunahin po nila sakaling mahalal bilang mayor ng Zamboanga?
Ang Zamboanga ay tinatawag na jambangan o ang Zamboanga tinatawag na halaman. Ang Zamboanga ay isang pinakamatatag dito sa Mindanao. Dito nabuksan ang barter pero napag-iwanan na tayo. Ang gagawin po natin dito makipagtulungan. Lalo-lalo na sa mga nakakataas. Manalo man ako o matalo, handang tumulong sa inyo. Why? Ang manggagawa dito sa Zamboanga, ang sahod nila ay 316 lamang. Samantala yung iba hindi pa umaabot ng ganun halaga na minimum wage, 316. So how can you resist to stay here longer in Zamboanga? Even we are here in the sources of commodity or mga isda, pero ang mahal ng bilihin. Panawagan ko sa ating mga namumuno at sa maglilingkod dito sa ating mamamayan, makipagtulungan tayo sa isa't isa para ang isa't isa ay giginhawa. So kailan yun ma-achieve natin ang ganon? Dapat tayong magtulungan. Ang isa sa atin, sumunod sa batas para maging maayos ang lahat. Sa simple instruction, dapat tayo sumunod. Kahit nasa taasan tayo, kung nandun tayo sa sitwasyon na sila ang obligado, dapat din tayo masunod doon. Inshallah, makakamit natin ang lahat ng anuman adhikain natin kung tayo ay susunod sa anumang antas, anong paraan, sa anong lipunan. Maraming salamat.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ismail. Now we shall listen to Mr. Jawo Jimenez. When we say your name in one word, what should we expect?
Ayuda.
Muchas gracias. Now please name the 3 most important things you will do if elected mayor of Zamboanga City.
Ay continua kita, el ayuda y aumenta pa. Número 1, el daton mga social programs, como el libre edukasyon na siyudad de Zamboanga, free tuition fee in college, na high school, todo nisisita ang mga bata diaton, from their uniforms to bags to school supplies, ay dali kita, in elementarya, si kita feeding program. Infrastructure, sir kaya kaba diaton bypass road, 90 to 90%, 95% ay kabayaste. El nisisita kita sa aura, konekta al diaton bypass road na diaton existing national highway, pasando na mga kamino na mga barangay. Ika-3, ay utilities. It is my dream, como un tata, todo pamilya na Zamboanga, todo casa diaton, abri kita al gripo, sale potable agua. Principiando na Distrito 2, si mira kita sitwasyon, Tetuan, all the way to Arena Blanco, no hay agua potable, tasale na gripo diaton. Ya pwede que statse, ase na Distrito 1, ase también kita na Distrito 2. El social programs diaton, bien importante. El COVID will affect us in the next 3 to 5 years. China again is locking down. Si hindi kita prepara, ay prepara kita para perder na pelea kontra COVID. Nisisita kita ayuda kon mga bebientes diaton. El housing is an aspect que necesita kita ayuda. Ya puede kita levantar cerca 500 casa na ayuda del gobierno nacional y gobierno local. Y na Labuan, el casa ay dalia con mga vivientes libre. Hasta el Chera ay dali kita libre. Ya puede kita aumenta pa kita el programa na otro lugar. Libre curada. Libre curada, especialmente para con el mga senior citizen diaton. Onde dali kita, continua kita el Largo Vida program, aumenta pa kanila el cash assistance. Nisisita kita ayuda con mga vivientes diaton. Kay si Aura, Chene ta imperma, daan yan oy laman el bolsa, si Chene pa ta imperma, agweraw ya el bolsa del pamilya na Zamboanga.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jimenez. Let us now listen to Mr. Celso Lombregat. When we say your name, sir, in one word, what should we expect?
Tried and tested and can be trusted. Subuk at nasubukan na at pwedeng pagkatiwalaan.
Thank you, sir. And kindly name the 3 most important things that you will do if elected mayor of Zamboanga.
We have a social contract with the people of Zamboanga if elected. There are 8 platforms and 22 action plans. The first one is health. Health is wealth. We have to address the pandemic situation scientifically complete with relevant facts and figures and accurate data. We have to have a holistic approach to the health issues of Zamboanga City. We have to make sure that we deliver the health services. We make sure that medicines are available. We make sure that doctors are more doctors. While, number 2, while we implement the health protocols, we have to balance this with economic empowerment. We have to make sure that we stimulate and jumpstart the economy. We have to make sure that we address the issues of employment and non-employment of the small and medium-scale businesses, and also give incentives. Then, the third one is youth and education. My advocacy has always been to empower the youth through access and assistance to quality education. Aside from the youth, we also have among them the basic services, meaning to say we have to give some CELCO the maximum support. We have to make sure that there is a base load power plant in Zamboanga City. We also have to give the water district all the help that they can need. And we also have to have a fast and reliable internet and Wi-Fi system. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, the first round. First round pa lang. Okay? And we still have more to come. And I'm sure a lot of you are excited to listen to more of their answers in the coming minutes. But at this point in time, we would now like to formally open today's forum by listening to the welcome remarks of our chapter chairman of the Kapisanan ng mga Broadcasters ng Pilipinas, Zamboanga City Chapter, and the president of E-Media Broadcasting, Mr. Belsi Agustin.
Thank you, Vice Chair Eric. As we are speaking right now, we are coming to you live via 17 active KBP radio, both AM and FM stations, digital terrestrial, at talang na sila e-box, 3 TV stations, Media, TV 11, and as well as IBC 13, and other stations, of course, na hindi sila active, I would not like to mention. We are covering to you live via our KBP page. Please, akal mga tali-aura, kentamira ka namon, pabor man share para kay este para just ustedes. We are also being covered by our online broadcast IT provider, LD Atun Gold Life Productions. Of course, we invited Zamboanga Times, Zamboanga Today. I think Roel Pareñas around will also cover from the Philippine Star. This two-day momentous occasion fulfills a very noble purpose for KBP in fulfilling its second out of 10 missions and role as a local chapter to advocate political maturity, social economic reforms, and environmental concerns. But while we wanted to do this, last year pa kami naman conceptualize, we also wanted to preserve sanctity and integrity. That's the reason we partnered with Mr. Jovi Ilagan, El Presidente del Jadi Production. Sir Job, saan ka na? Can I see a show of hands lang, konti? Maraming salamat. Okay. He came over in a church setup. That was February. We started talking. Sabi ko, amoy na amoy ko yung dollar mo. He came over from USA. And then he started asking, kumusta yung political landscape ng Zamboanga? How are the behaviors of Zamboangueño towards the local politicians? Sabi ko, well, ganun pa rin. Bandwagon, blah, 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 blah. Sabi niya, I think you need to have a forum. Sabi ko, yes, we really wanted to have one. But the problem is the integrity issue. That's perhaps the reason why National KBP were conceptualizing on second presidential forum but did not materialize until last night. So they ended up, having it as an interview type. Pero naunahan tayo, Sir John, nakauna na tayo, kumbaga. So sabi niya, Ablale, we want to have a forum. Sabi ko, are you willing to partner? Because Joby is an ordinary citizen doing all these events since 1988. We've been working together, and I know his credentials. Sabi ko, if you're willing to do it with us for free, then you are the missing piece. Sabi niya, let's go. So, ito na. That's why we are here right now. Maraming salamat, Jadi Production. But sabi ko, we have to present it first sa KBP in our next meeting. With this, I'd like to take opportunity to thank the fellow KBP Zamboanga officers. Can I ask you to stand right now? Unanimous elders decision del KBP. Please stand up, all KBP officers around. Please, to be recognized. Maraming salamat. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'd also like to take this opportunity, COMELEC, for your guidance, and of course, accreditation dito sa forum na to. Our panelists and sectoral representatives, for spending with us your 2 days, your precious time. I know you are busy, but we really appreciate this. Vista de Lente, our LED wall provider. Albre Advertising Corporation for our advertising collaterals. Okay, maraming salamat. Queen's Laundry, our dry clean specialist for logistical support. And of course, our Kobe Sound System, Gold Live, Broadcast, IT, all join for this one noble cause, again, for free. And Garden Orchid Hotel for this very convenient venue. To our distinguished and very able candidates, I wish they are all here, one of which in those seats will be elected as the mayor. Por eso yan, courtesy ko kita todo con el 4, kaya nusabi kita kiyang gana. Thank you for showing up. Your presence today is a manifestation of your leadership, courage, and respect to the organizers. Thank you very much from the bottom of our hearts. This will be a discussion where we can learn about and evaluate your qualifications, personal convictions as you seek for the highest position in Zamboanga City. Lastly, ustedes, tamira ka na mun aura, tali na TV, tali na Facebook, tauwi na radyo, para de ustedes Acerta kita bota. Time and again, pirmi kita tabla o tareklama ustedes. We deserve the government we elect. El tiempo para mira ustedes. Ken baga taman deserve. Yabla si Joby Endenantes, after looking at watching forums in Manila, ya cambia decision para na presidential. We would expect the same. Perhaps after this, you might change your decision. Or, especially those who are undecided right now. Kay todos able, as I have said. Siguro kita kal di ato notion na debe entre pamilya ta sapa tan sentimiento taman unfriend kon el mga barkada because of political divisions and aspirations. Taman black, the worst, di ba? So debe siguro hindi na kita gindalya. Evalua, piskisa, scrutina uno por uno. Sinisisita resa, porque hindi. Kilatisin nyo. Sila, isa-isa. We are electing our future. Sitting in front, looking at their faces, I see them as our future. This is our future. And that will define what will happen 3 years after May 9. Thank you very much. Alam ko, kayo ay matalino sa inyong pagboto. First round pa lang kita, sinaboxing, ayer wild card. Today is the wildest card. First round pa lang kayo, tiyan pa, may 11 rounds pa, no? Although we only have 6 questions. Thank you, and without much further ado, welcome to the Mayoralty Candidates Forum.
Thank you very much, Chairman Belsi, for that wonderful welcome. As he mentioned, Mono streaming this forum. No other organization can give you this kind of exposure. So, congratulations to our candidates who are now maximizing this exposure. At this point in time, we would by the way, would also like to encourage healthy discussion among our viewers. So please do comment. Please do express your opinions in the comment section of our Facebook page. At this point in time, we would like to introduce to you the member of our panel. First is the Provincial Director of the Department of Trade and Industry, Zamboanga City Office. We'd like to welcome Ms. Grace de la Cruz Aduca. Second is the President of the IBP Zambazulta Chapter. She is also currently the Commissioner for the Commission on Bar Discipline and recently elected as Vice Chairman for External Affairs, Regional Advisory Group of the Police Regional Office 9, and has now been practicing for 10 years as partner of Sales Lavista and Lavista Law Firm. Please welcome Attorney Honorisa Cristel Lavista. Our third member of the panel is currently a member of the Task Force Duterte Zamboanga City Power Board of Directors of Zamboanga City Electric Cooperative. He is a member of the Board of Directors of Zamboanga City Special Economic Zone Authority. He is the Chairman and Infrastructure Committee of the Regional Development Council Region 9 from 2016 to 2019 and has been re-elected for another term, serving from 2019 to 2022. And currently the President and member of the Board of Directors of the Zamboanga Chamber of Commerce and Industry Foundation, Incorporated. Let's welcome Attorney Carl Andrew M. Rubio. Of course, we'd like to acknowledge once again the presence of our very important partners in this forum, our sectoral representatives. We'd like to recognize Ms. Julia Tigo of the Federation of Zamboanga City Civil Society Organizations, Ms. Raquel Olivio of the Women's Sector, she's not around, Mr. Alberto Dizon of the Farmers Sector, Mr. Kerwin Serrano of the Persons with Disabilities sector. They were with us yesterday also. Ms. Janet Ko of the Vendor sector. Mr. Nasir Ismula of the Indigenous People sector. And Ms. Lourdes Mangawang of the Senior Citizen sector. Thank you all very much for being here with us today. Of course, our COMELEC representatives, Attorney Stephen Roy Cañete. Thank you very much for joining us, sir. And together with him is Mr. Oliver Alar. Thank you very much as well. Once again, Mr. Belsi Agustin and the officers of the KBP Zamboanga chapter, Mr. Job Ilagan, President of Jadi Production, and of course, our sponsors, Garden Orchid Hotel for our wonderful venue yesterday and today, Gold Life Productions, our online broadcast provider, Queen Laundry, our dry clean specialist for our logistics, Albury Advertising Corporation, Vista de Lente for our LED wall setup, and Kobe Sound System. Thank you all very much for your generous support. Before we start once again with our question and answer segment, we would just like to reiterate our guidelines and mechanics which will govern today's forum. The candidates and panels will not receive nor have a prior knowledge of the questions to be asked in the forum. The panel will be briefed minutes before the forum starts to ensure a clean, unbiased system. Participants are not allowed to bring cell phones and cheat sheets or código with them or to consult with their staff while the forum is going on. This is to show the audience, which consists of representatives from different sectors, that the candidate is knowledgeable and has a clear understanding of his or her platform. A pen and paper will be provided by the event staff for note-taking. The participants will be seated in alphabetical order, and 1 hour before the event starts, one representative for each participant will be called to draw lots, and whoever gets the first number will answer the first question. The person seated to the left of that participant will automatically be the first to answer the second question, and the person on his left will then be the first to answer the third question, and so on. This system of answering will go on for the duration of the event to ensure that all candidates are given chances to be the first ones to answer. Each candidate is then given 120 seconds or 2 minutes of uninterrupted time to answer a question. In the last 10 seconds, the candidates will hear the sound of a bell once. Can we hear that? And when the time is up, the bell will sound twice. No one is allowed to rebut, react, or give a comment for or against what a candidate has said. Once a candidate is done speaking, the forum will proceed peacefully without cheers or chants from the audience. For the entirety of the event, it will be conducted with utmost respect for humanity and office of governance. Any form of bullying, name-calling, bias, and maltreatment will not be tolerated. First offense will get a warning, and a second violation will mean ejection from the venue. And today, ladies and gentlemen, is slightly different from yesterday's forum because we will be having, aside from the sectoral questions that have been submitted, there will be 3 major questions. So to continue with the question and answer segment, we will now have our second question, which will be drawn by our panelists.
Good morning, gentlemen. Here's your question. Urban Poor is a project for the poor, so that when their homes are demolished, the government should have a place to resettle them. But the reality is, many of the supposedly poor fail to avail the project, and yet there are those who are connected would seem to enjoy prioritized slots in this program. So if elected, how will you address this problem? In Tagalog, ang Urban Poor po ay isang proyekto para sa mahihirap na nagbibigay sana ng kasiguraduhan sa mga pamilya na kung ang kanilang mga tahanan ay mawasak, ay may maglalaan ng gobyerno ng lugar kung saan sila maaring lumipat. Ngunit ang katotohanan ay marami sa mga tunay na mahihirap at naghihikahos na mga pamilya ang hindi nakakakuha ng tirahan sa programang ito? At kung kayo ay mabibigyan ng pagkakataon, paano nyo po malulutas ang ganitong problema?
First to answer this question, and will be given 2 minutes to answer, is Mr. Cesar Climaco.
Good morning. The way I see it, your question revolves more on corruption. Why some of the poor do not get their lots and houses, and sometimes somebody who is not poor gets their share. So the important thing is remove corruption from all these government handouts. Very simple. Have government handouts of lots and houses, maybe by raffle, and not by pool, or they know somebody in government who will give them an unfair opportunity. Many times, they are given house and lot in Talisayan or Kabaluay, so they don't want to also go that far for their house and lots. So maybe government, when they want to help the poor, maybe if they want to give them in Kabaluay, have transportation available. Not just give them a house there and they cannot go to work. There are a lot of vacant lots I can see in Kabaluay, Kulyanan, which are not too expensive. So, one, give them a house and lot to the urban poor. Second, transportation. So, remove the corruption. And I know the DAR, Department of Agriculture Reform, has done that to us. And they gave it to their friends, the lots, and thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Climaco. Let us now listen to Mr. Karim Ismail.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala at magandang tanghali sa kababayan ko mga Kristiyano. Ang isang namumuno, dapat tulungan niya ang mamamayan at ang mamamayan na ang magtulong sa bayan. Opo, hindi lang nakikita, nararamdaman natin ang mga mahihirap ay lalong naghihirap. Why? Kasi nakita natin yung paggawaan dati ng mga bahay, nilagyan na ng bahay, pero ang naging problema, hindi pa na akyatan ang bahay o hindi pa na pinoproblema na ng tagbahay yung mga hagdan nila o yung mga nila sa bahay, namumroblema sila. So how comes kung ilalagay natin sila sa mga lupa, katulad ng Kabaluay, pero ang naging problema, ang tanong ng mga kababayan natin, paano kami ilalagay doon walang kabuhayan? So katulad ng sinabi ko dati, kung isi-separate natin yung iba o gagamitin natin yung mga espasyo natin, na dalhin doon ang mga palengke, dalhin doon yung mga ibang sektor ng mga opisina para hindi ma-congestion dito sa sa city. If I'm not mistaken, pang-apat ata tayo sa pinakamalaking lupain or city dito sa Zamboanga, pero yan ang nagiging problema. Sa mga katulad natin, sa mga leader, God's will na sana magtutulungan tayo. Yung hindi na tayo magiging problema sa ating bayan. Kung may ma-share tayo, hindi natin iasa sa government o sa umuupo. Umasa rin tayo sa ating sarili. Maraming salamat.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ismail. We shall now listen to the answer of Mr. Jawo Jimenez.
Debe sabi kita ko sa pamilya, ko sa lugar, kinisisita kita man relocate. Para sabi kita kay este pamilya, mga verdadero pobre pamilya na Zamboanga. El una ali, nisisita kita man relocate con el mga pamilya, kita na Costao del Rio. Si Jenny sila sen, hindi sila lebanta dila mga kasa na Costao del Rio, hindi dila terreno, ibendilikaw pa sila, si Tasubil Agua na Rio. El otro pamilya que necesita kita liba para na daton relocation site, amol mga pamilya ta esta na mga danger zones. Imana da este, danger zones como prone area para man na landslide, danger zones como un rato lang ulan, alto el agua, tanbaha, ita estal mga pamilya hindi di ilalchera. Y también el importante ali, el diaton mga informal settlers como na sentro del pueblo. Nisisita kita man relocate kanila na mga relocation areas diaton. Este mga informal settlers diaton, we are now already 2022. As early as 2005, 2010, the data show, el datos tabla kanaton, at least 80,000 to 100,000 families have to be relocated. Pero ahora 2022 ya kita, almost double if not triple ya el mga pamilya nisisita kita reloka. Having identified the families, the real poor families que necesita kita man relocate, el cosa sa el gobyerno lokal, como el diaton Talisayan Resettlement Area, hindi lang kita kanila man raffle, dalechera, manda kanila paga on a monthly basis. But what do we do to encourage kung el pamilya hindi masali ng mga resettlement area? Number one, give them free houses. Dali kanila casa libre. También dali kanila el chera libre. We can do it. It is about time we give these things to our poor people in Zamboanga City para hindi masila sali ng mga resettlement area kaya prepara el gobyerno lokal kanila.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jimenez. We shall now listen to Mr. Celso Lobregat.
No. Okay. Included in our 8 platforms and 22 action plans under social inclusion is a program for assistance to the marginalized sector. One of the marginalized sectors is the urban poor. I can tell you, I will do what I did when I was mayor, and I will do much more. An example, it was during my time that we developed the biggest city resettlement site, Tulungatum. It was during my time that we developed Ascuna in the East Coast. Actually, when I have been going around with my pulong-pulongs to the different urban poor areas, I really felt sad. Up to now, the areas of the C3R affected by the Zamboanga siege have no water, have no electricity. That is one thing that I will prioritize. They have been collected 6,500, but where is the water? Where is the electricity? I will also make sure that we give the needed infrastructure. I have been going around community-based areas. They have no roads. They have no drainage. It is muddy. You can hardly walk. I will partner with DSWD and make sure that our CSWD gives the needed assistance to the urban poor. They have suffered long enough, so it is time that we give them what they deserve. Thank you.
Muchas gracias. We shall now listen to Attorney Romel Agad.
One of the concerns of the housing sector, the urban poor, is the lack of resettlement areas. I am happy that during the Climaco administration, I took part as a member of the panel of negotiators in acquiring new lands where the informal settlers can be accommodated. Under the Agan administration, in the same way that Mayor Agan purchased before the Ascuna property, my administration will continue to land bank, purchase properties to accommodate the backlog. And if there are no willing property owners to sell at government price, it is high time that political will must be exercised and make use of the powers of government, expropriate, so that we can buy more land to accommodate the informal settlers. Priority should be given to those in danger zones. And transparency should be exercised in the grant and in the choice of the beneficiaries. What is important is that we acquire the lands now while they are cheaper. The longer we delay, the prices of lands go up. If there are no willing owners, again, maybe under the Agan administration, ara lang uli man exercise a right of eminent domain. That should be done to be able to acquire more. I feel for the informal settlers. For the longest time, some may kumpra, tsera, or ara lang uli, tiyempo di Mayor Beng. And I was part of that exercise. I contributed. Thank you.
Muchas gracias, Attorney Meng Agan. That ends our round for the second question. We shall now request our panelists to draw and read the third question.
Good morning, gentlemen. The question for all of you is, when we hear of problems on garbage and traffic, we often hear solutions like the need to further improve our programs on cleanliness and garbage collection, to pursue road widening, diversionary roads, and all other infrastructure. However, we rarely hear about the other more obvious reason why we have this
option na yan ay available para mag-apply hanggang April 30.
Opo. Pero paano po daw